Some of these big market teams just can't control themselves in free agency, and it is really hurting the Brewers' cause. If we want to get a salary cap, we'll talk about that coming up next here on Locked On Brewers.
You are Locked On Brewers, your daily Milwaukee Brewers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey everybody, welcome to Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Locked On Brewers, the number one Brewers podcast on the internet. Locked On, the number one sports podcasting network in the world. Great to have you along here. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, NFL playoffs are in full swing with FanDuel. You got to take part in this because they're the official sports book partner of the NFL, and they give you some really good boosts. Grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day at FanDuel. Coming up on the show today, I don't know about you, I was just disgusted to see what the Dodgers and Mets did last week and how it affects the Milwaukee Brewers. The latest on Freddie Peralta. A couple of teams really trying to get Peralta on their roster, including the Dodgers. The Pat Murphy Tour is a ringing success around the state. This would have never happened a couple of years ago with some of our past managers. We'll get to all that coming up next. Great to have you along here. All right, Kyle Tucker. Now, if these teams want to spend money, okay, you can't talk out of both sides of your face in Major League Baseball. You're trying to present a cause. Owners are trying to be united here. At least we think they are. But then you got the Dodgers going out and spending 4 years, $240 million for Kyle Tucker. First of all, Kyle Tucker's not worth $60 million a year. He kind of mailed it in with the Cubs last year. He was really, in fact, at one stretch, Council had benched Tucker. This guy is going to get $60 million a year. I'm not upset that the Brewers can't bid for this guy because 4 years, $240 is foolish. And of course, the Dodgers get him. I mean, it makes me angry a little bit that the Dodgers are outspending everybody, but that's just the way it is. I mean, the Dodgers really need Kyle Tucker? No. It wasn't like they were on life support or anything like that, but they go out and get Kyle Tucker. So the Mets, they just can't help themselves. So they realize they can't get Kyle Tucker, so they go overspend and further do damage to the owner's cause as far as getting a salary cap. 3 years, $126 million. Now, the Mets and Dodgers are fine without a salary cap. But if we're going to be united in this thing, you got the Dodgers going out and spending $60 million. What do you think that text was like that Matt Arnold got? Hey, did you see the Dodgers spent $60 million? That's half your entire payroll for one guy who's not even. I mean, we're not talking Kyle Tucker here. We're not talking Wade Boggs here. All right. And Bichette, 3 years, 126. He's a nice player, but worth $42 million a year. The Mets, I mean, God, that guy, David Stearns. I mean, from whatever spending he couldn't do here, he's doing it in New York. But you know what? The Mets will still be struggling around the 500 mark anyway. All right. After it's all said and done, these two teams, well, not the Dodgers. Well, the Brewers will probably, take all 6 games against the Dodgers like they did last year. The Dodgers will sleepwalk through the season, eventually pick themselves up off the canvas, win the National League West, and beat the Brewers in the postseason. The Mets, they'll be disappointing all year long. They'll have all these high-priced players. They'll walk around the clubhouse like they own the place and yet miss the playoffs once again and cost the manager his job. Bo Bichette, 3 years, $126 million. I mean, it's laughable. Kyle Tucker, $60 million a year. That's laughable. But what's not laughable is that this hurts the Brewers' cause and the owner's clause. The owners, if they're going to be bandied on this, they're going to come together on this. Okay, I'm not saying you got to have collusion, but these guys can't help themselves. Oh, yeah, we did a salary cap, but then there's the Dodgers going out and spending, overpaying for a guy. The Mets overpaying for the guy, for Bichette. I mean, this is what's wrong with the system. It's why in 1994, Major League Baseball really, really screwed up. It cost them the World Series. So if it cost you the World Series, 1995, you gave up. and said, okay, we give in. You can have your salary cap. It's like the cheating wife who keeps cheating on you, and you say, well, okay, I guess there's nothing I can do about it. Keep doing it. The owners just keep cheating and spending and spending and spending. They had a chance in 1994. Some of you may not have been alive by then or too young to remember, but the Brewers, Major League Baseball, and Bud Selig, who was the owner of the Brewers, Commissioner of Baseball, they wanted that salary cap. And they were holding steady, and Bud Selig took a lot of heat for canceling the World Series. But he was holding his own. He didn't get any heat from me because I was doing the right thing. He was defending small markets. And then the Brewers owner, Bud Selig, gave in. And there went Major League Baseball. There went Major League Baseball. And it's never, well, it's recovered with fans and some small market, like Milwaukee, small markets like the Milwaukee Brewers have had success. But come on. If we're going to do this as owners, why are we paying $60 million for Kyle Tucker? Well, I mean, Bo Bichette, $42 million. If you do Dante in there, maybe. But come on, there's not one owner out there who thinks, nobody who thinks that Bo Bichette is worth $42 million or that Kyle Tucker is worth $60 million. The Royals and the Brewers are just like this. What are we going to do? You know what the Brewers will do? Brewers will just go on and win their 90 games. They'll win their 90, 95 games. All right. And everybody, all these other owners, oh, the Brewers doing it. Why are we spending all this money? We're trying to outspend them. And yet the Brewers are winning games during the regular season. They're winning 40 or 50 games. How are they doing it? Then we get to the postseason. And that's all she wrote. Oh, it just disgusts me. It really does disgust me. It's the owner's fault. They go out there and continue to give these guys. Who were the Dodgers bidding against? Who were the Mets bidding against for $42 million? Who wanted to give Bichette that kind of money? They couldn't help themselves. And this is why the Mets are a joke. They are. They try to patch things up by overspending, and still they'll miss the playoffs. You know, people out there dislike the Dodgers, and the Dodgers, they didn't need to go out and get Kyle Tucker, but they did anyway. They overspent anyway. But I dislike the Mets even more because the Mets think that they could just outspend everybody, spend all this money, and they still stink. Desperate. That's what they are, just desperate. And while the Brewers are picking up guys, yeah, they'll get Kyle Tucker someday when Kyle Tucker's looking for a minor league invite. Yeah, they'll get Bo Bichette someday when he's looking for a minor league invite. If it ever comes to that. Oh, that's when we get these guys. Right? We get these guys at the end of their careers. Quintana, and hopefully to squeeze 11 wins out of them. Why would the players ever give in to the owners? The players, one of the strongest unions ever. They see this. Why would they got to be laughing. Why would they ever give into a salary cap when the owners can't help, when some of these big market owners can't help themselves? And they don't care about the Milwaukee Brewers. And then the commissioner, he just wants to keep making different rules up, not to help the finances of the game. Because I feel like the commissioner just wants like 7 or 8 teams. And he wants the Milwaukee Brewers to year in, year out. Yeah, they're a nice little story. But as long as the Dodgers beat the Brewers in the postseason, that's all that matters. That mentality. Why don't we just have like 7? Again, I've said this before. Why don't we just have 7 teams in the league if this is the way it's going to be? At the Mets and the Yankees. Oh yeah, who's looking to trade for Freddie Peralta? We'll get to this a little bit later on. Oh, the same teams. The Yankees, the Mets, of course, and of course the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers need Freddie Peralta. Oh, I just, as someone who's just watched this, and I cover the Brewers on a regular basis, It just absolutely disgusts me how Major League Baseball, the owners can't help themselves as a collective unit, and they have no shot. They're going to have this lockout on December 1st, and the Players Association is just going to laugh in their face. Brewers have no shot at ever. The Royals, no shot at convincing everybody that there needs to be a salary cap. Yep, 1994. It's going to be the hamster wheel is going to continue for the Milwaukee Brewers, right? Not going to do anything in the postseason. Do well in the regular season. Trade off our players like Freddie Peralta. I mean, we just keep trading off our all-star players, yet we still win the division titles. Shouldn't be that way. Should be able to keep your stars. John Heyman writing, well, the Brewers aren't in a situation to sign Freddie Peralta to a long-term deal. Small markets can't do that. No kidding. But those national guys don't care about Milwaukee. He's with the New York Post. He doesn't care. And he was with, he was a national writer before that. Still does national work, obviously, but he's the national baseball writer for the New York Post. I don't know. I mean, I could cry from the mountaintops, but it's not going to do any good. It's just this, it's this disappointing, and it doesn't help the big markets. Well, it helps the big markets, but it doesn't help the small markets in their case for building a case for the negotiations. And we'll have that lockout happen in 2025, December 2025. Might get a few cancellation of games, and then the owners will finally say, well, the players aren't giving in, so we're going to have to, we don't want to lose any money. Major League Baseball is really at a high right now. I feel there's a great vibe in baseball. Mid-90s, yeah, the vibe stunk for baseball. It was the haves and the have-nots. But kind of it is right now. It is. But you're getting people going to games. In the 90s, you had 5,000 people going to a Brewer game. Now you have 43,000 on a Sunday afternoon game, or 22 on a weekday afternoon game or night game. Maybe more. These owners don't want to miss out on that gate. Antanasi doesn't want to miss out on that gate. Right? But he obviously he needs a salary cap, but he's competing, drawing people into his building. But he's got to have that salary cap if he wants to win championships. Or does he really want to win championships? Or does he want to have a family fun day on Sundays? Oh, us fans, man. I mean, again, when that Kyle Tucker thing, when I saw it first come across my phone, I was disgusted it was the Yankees. I was disgusted it was the Dodgers. And then I was even more disgusted at the price and thinking, how does this help the Brewers' cause? And then the Bichette thing came on. I laughed because it was the Mets, and then was further even disgusted for the Milwaukee Brewers and all small markets. All right, we come back. We'll talk about Freddie. Oh, Heyman's got the places where Freddie's going to go. New team into this mix as well. And they don't even need him. And I'm not even talking about the Dodgers. We'll get to that next here on Locked On Brewers. Locked On Brewers brought to you in part by FanDuel. FanDuel in playoff mode. Championship Sundays coming up, the AFC and NFC championship games. And FanDuel's where you're going to want to be because they have the playoff, the profit boost pack waiting right inside the app. Every game day, multiple profit boosts. You can apply to the bets you like most. Open your profit boost pack the first thing on Sunday, and you'll see everything you need, whether you're backing momentum, defense, quarterback play, coaching, and the live betting. The live betting is great. I'll tell you what, like on Sunday, let's say if you like the Rams, but you didn't want to go after the 3.5. Well, at one point, it was a pick 'em game. You could have taken the Rams there, and you would have won your bet. because the pregame bet, if you bent the points, it wouldn't have covered the 3.5. And that's why the live betting on FanDuel is awesome. FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NFL, easy to maneuver and navigate around the website and the app. Grab your profit boost pack this NFL Championship Sunday and every NFL playoff game day with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. By the way, we've started something new here, the Everydayers Club. The Everydayer Club. On the Everydayer Club, you're going to get commercial-free Locked On Brewers on all the audio platforms. I know people say, well, I hate when I'm driving. I got to forward through stuff and all that. I don't want the ads. Well, there's a way to do it through the Everydayer Club. We take out the ads for you, so you just hear Locked On Brewers without the ads. It's a great way to go. And of course, we got the Locked On Brewers Discord. We're going to be rolling with that very soon here and get you up to speed exclusively for Brewer fans. We'll talk together about the Milwaukee Brewers on the Discord. And plus, there's other amenities as well. Check it out, the link below, whether it's you're watching this on YouTube or you're listening to the audio platform. The link is right in the notes section. I have a link there, and check it out for yourself. The Everydayer Club, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. All right, Freddie Peralta. Freddie's a daily question I get. Are the Brewers trading Freddie Peralta? And I feel like the deeper we get in to the offseason, and I believe the first exhibition games are 4 weeks from this past Saturday, that maybe Freddie's going to stay. I don't know. That doesn't. I guess it doesn't really matter, right? How deep into the postseason. The Brewers are holding the cards. There's going to be some team out there that's going to be in desperation mode, like the Mets were, and say, we'll give you all these guys. And the Brewers are holding the cards. You know, this in the past, when the Brewers have had these guys, they traded them in December. Players they were going to trade going into their final year of the deal. Corbin Burns, Devin Williams. But here, they probably could have traded him in December. But Matt Arnold is obviously looking for a load back for Peralta. Hey, you got to go out and spend that much on Kyle Tucker? You got to go out and spend that much on Bo Bichette? You want my all-star pitcher who's got 17 wins, making $8 million a year? Give me your best guys. Give me your best minor leaguers. And I'm sure they're looking for a veteran pitcher in return. But the teams that John Heyman says right now are the lead candidates for the services of Peralta. Of course, the Dodgers, who got 16 starting pitchers already. The Yankees, who just made a trade for a starter, could use one. Boston apparently is not in the mix anymore, according to Heyman. The Braves, the Mets. The Mets. I mean, if they're going to spend $123 million for Bo Bichette, what are they going to spend? What will they spend for Peralta? And the Giants now in the mix. The Giants, I thought, shored up their pitching. Well, they did get Adrian Hauser a couple of weeks ago, overpaid for him. But apparently the Giants are in the mix for Freddie. I mean, there were some loose rumors a couple of months ago that the Giants were interested, but Heyman says the Giants are really interested. So the Giants, the Dodgers, the same teams, the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Mets, the Braves got in about a month ago, and now the Giants. And of course, you trade Peralta away. It's a bad look, right? Well, we can't afford him, but then it helps your cause. Well, we can't afford these guys. No salary cap. We can't afford to give Freddie another contract. And I have no problem trading him to the Dodgers, who's obviously standing in their way to get to a championship. I have no problem. I've told you before, I don't have any problem trading within the division. And certainly in the National League West, the Dodgers, who stand in the bigger picture of getting in your way of winning a World Series or getting to a World Series. But if you can get the Dodgers, you can get some guys from them. The guy I really want from the Yankees is Heel. I love him. God, I think of these 5 teams. If they can get Luis Heel from the Yankees, and a couple of others, of course, other players in return. For Peralta, he'll 3 years in return of team control. Yes. But keep the bidding war going, guys. I'm sure daily Matt Arnold's cell phone just rings off the hook every day. Just buzzes, constantly buzzing. Hey, give me a call. How would you like this for Freddie? Now, get back to me when you add some more chips to the piece here. All right, so that's the latest on Freddie. Like I said, every day. I was just out yesterday. I went to the store yesterday. Hey, are the Brewers trading Freddie? I don't know the answer, but I think the Brewers will still do it. I just think they're holding out. But again, the Brewers aren't in desperation mode for trading Peralta. Otherwise, they would have done it in December. Right? They would have done that in December. But still think they're going to do it. All right. The Pat Murphy Tour is a raging success, and no surprise there. Get to that next here on Locked On Brewers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, we are your team every day. Pat Murphy, he's begun his statewide tour. He was in Brookfield, went to La Crosse, it might have been Madison too, Eau Claire. He's in Wausau tonight. Sold out. I've seen pictures. He's filling up convention centers. The Brewers, tell me, they could have done this with Council. Could not have done it for Council. Could have done it with Renicky, Ned Yost. 3 years ago, nobody knew who Pat Murphy was. I mean, you knew him. He was the guy next to Council in the dugout, right? But Murphy, statewide tour, and he's selling out, taking questions from fans, telling stories. There's never been a Brewer manager better for doing this than Pat Murphy. He's packing places. He's heading off to Green Bay next. Packing places. I wish he was coming to Fond du Lac. I live near Fond du Lac. I wish he was coming there. But no surprise. He's got the fans in the palm of his hands with these stories. He brought out the pocket pancakes, from what I understand, in Eau Claire. But more importantly to me, he knows how to manage. But to boot, the Brewers, the Brewers don't do the winter caravan anymore. They don't go around the state taking this relief pitcher and this backup second baseman. They don't do that anymore. They stopped doing that a few years ago. And then they had their 1-day event and 2-day event in downtown Milwaukee. And these players, off their summer vacation, they don't want to come back. And I know what you're saying. Well, they're making millions of dollars. They got a long enough season. So we did that winter, and the Cubs do Cubs Fest. The Brewers stopped doing their festival downtown Milwaukee a couple of years ago. Turned it into a 2-day fest. I think one year got canceled because of cold or snow, and then we haven't had it since. So now they're trying the Pat Murphy tour, which I think is a great idea. Great idea. When I first saw it advertised, I was like, perfect. Pat Murphy going around the state, talking to fans, getting fans excited for the season, but you don't really have to do that. Fans, I think, are excited about this team. They're excited for the season, but getting him going around and visiting Wausau and Eau Claire and fans who don't have a chance to see what Pat Murphy's all about, first person, ask some questions. He signs some autographs. And it's a big night, an evening with Pat Murphy. We get it 162 days a year covering the Brewers and it's spring training. But fans, this is great. You couldn't have done that with Council, right? You wouldn't have been able to market Council. You'd get half of that gym, half of that convention center filled. Ron Renicky, a quarter of a filled. Ned Yost, nobody would show up for Ned. What's Ned going to do? Got a Brewer manager in the past. Phil Garner, if he was managing today and the Brewers are having the success, Phil Garner is the kind of guy who could have carried the room. Maybe George Bamberger. Certainly not Davey Lopes. But yeah, not many guys could have done it, but nobody could have done it as well. as what Pat Murphy is doing right now. And if you're watching this in the Fox Valley or you're going to the show in Wausau, let me know if you've been to one of these, because I've heard from guys who are in the media who've covered this, said it's just absolutely fantastic. Sophia Minute is hosting the event. She's the moderator of it, does a great job. And Pat Murphy, when you see him at one of these events, all these guys who I've talked to, the media guys I've talked to in every city have told me it's been fantastic. So Green Bay, got something to look forward to. Have fun in Wausau tonight if you're going. You're watching us. I know we have a lot of viewers up in Wausau watching this and going to be going to the Pat Murphy event tonight at the Grand Theater, beautiful theater in Wausau. It's going to do it for me. Again, the Everyday Air Club, everybody. Something new that we've started here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Become a subscriber to the Everyday Air Club. You get commercial-free podcasts, audio podcasts of Locked On Brewers. You become a member of our Discord, which is going to be hot and havoc. I got to figure out something that we're specifically going to do regarding the Discord Club too. Discord, where we can talk maybe in the afternoon. You and I, one-on-one. And of course, other amenities. Just check it out below. Check it out below. The Everyday Air Club here on Locked On Brewers. That'll do it for me. We'll talk to you Wednesday, everybody. My name is Chuck Freimund. Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day.